Welcome back to the VET S.O.S podcast. We're going to be sitting down on the stoop. We're about to get the scoop. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in once again. And thank you for being a part of the VET S.O.S network. Remember, you do not have to drown in the sea of transition. Grab that lifeline, cut through the noise, reach out to us. We're here to help. And today, oh, man, look, this is what they say, my brother from another. My man Kiwi, I'm telling y'all, when y'all hear his story and y'all hear his resiliency, I met Kiwi a couple of years ago and we just been connected by the hip since then. And I reached out to him. I said, hey, Kiwi, thank you for letting me come on your show because he got a show. He's going to talk about his show. I said, hey, will you mind coming on the scoop to share your story with our audience so they can hear, so they can reach out to you and your audience, and then we just keep this networking going because that's what we do here. We help each other out. We're veterans. We're brothers. You know, we always want to keep each other moving forward and keep pushing and pushing each other because at the end of the day, if you don't have nobody by your side, then there's somebody by your side. I'm going to let y'all sit on that. But we're sitting down with this young man right here. And y'all want to know what? This man right here survived what should have ended him. A devastating motorcycle accident, a fight for his life, a long road through trauma, recovery, and redefining identity. But Kijuan Amey, a.k.a. Kiwi, didn't stay stuck in why me. He chose purpose over pain, faith over fear, and gratitude over grief. Author, and this is the book we're going to be talking about today, everybody. So, Kiwi, I'm holding it up. I'm letting everybody see it, but we're going to be talking about it. Don't focus on why me. Kijuan is living proof that the worst moment does not get the final word. This is not just about a story of survival. This is about a story of resurrection. Now it's time to get into it. But before we start, I know the scoop on Kiwi. I want the listeners and the audience to get the scoop on Kiwi from Kiwi's own mouth. So Kiwi, hey brother, what's going on? What's the scoop on you, brother? Because this is I say, yo, how much time do you have? And then you held up both hands. He's like, I ain't got no watch. So we here until we not. So I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for coming in.
Hey, listen, government Kingsley Scott. Hey, listen, I'm going to call you what I call you, Brooklyn Teddy, okay? That's my guy right there, man. My dude, man. Brooklyn Teddy, we've been locked in ever since the bear hug, okay?
Yes.
And my man, you know, look, like it's been amazing ever since I even encountered your charisma, man. It just rubs off and it's so amazing. From the first moment we met in the ambassador program for the Air Force One Warriors, you know, and so when you ask me, hey brother, I just want to be respectful of you, you know, how much time you got? Held up both wrists. I ain't wearing no watch. We locked in, baby. So let's go. I ain't wearing no watch. We locked in right now. We got to give them what they need to hear. Man. And that's what it's about. And so, man, like you asked, you know, who is Kijuan? You know, who is Kijuan, Kiwi, Amey? Why do I throw Kiwi in there with it? It's not just because of the military. Yeah, that was my call sign. But I've been called Kiwi since I was a little boy, man. So this is a childhood nickname as well. You know, born in Durham, North Carolina, Bull City bred. Yeah, I was born in Durham, but I'm a Tar Heel. And go Tar Heels because we just beat Duke. Let's go. And so anyway, man, my background has been, you know, just run that kid, as y'all call it, the stoop. That kid that used to be on the stoop, man. That kid that used to run around outdoors, ride bicycles, you know, go up and down the hills doing backflips. Like, oh, hey man, we out here. You know what I'm saying? We were out there learning how to build ramps, you know, everything.
Everything.
My childhood was outdoors, okay? And so when I hear kids and all they talk about is tablets and video games and computers, I'm like, I love technology too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not that guy. But what I will say is you've got to experience outdoors. because it's something, it builds something in you, you know? But anywho, man, other than me being a childhood or outdoor child, shall I say, living in the country before Durham was what it is now. Durham is, God, it's done turned into a little mini New York now because everybody from New York moving down here.
Everybody moving south, huh?
Everybody moving down here. Every time I jump in an Uber, it's hey man, where you from? Oh, I'm from New York. I was like, I thought I heard that upstate English. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm like, God, every time you look around, there's somebody from New York down here, and I don't have any problems with it because I know why they're moving. Most of them, it's a real reason. There's a real reason to move south. The affordability, it ain't in New York. I'm gonna tell you that.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive up
Yeah,
there now.
yeah. So anyway, man, me went from playing sports in high school through grade school, shall I say, and I wanted to go to college and do it. That was the ultimate goal. Kind of following in the shadows of my oldest brother, but I didn't make it that far as college goes. But I did have the academics. Don't get me wrong there. I was definitely sharp in that department. If you want, you probably tell from when you talk to me. I was always a kid or a young man who preferred to have his mind right, and I preach that now. Like I just got back from speaking at a school in New Hampshire, a boarding school in New Hampshire, man. I was talking to these students, man. You talking about some, they are sharp. Okay. The students at those boarding schools, man, because they live on campus. So I was getting a chance to interact with them, and two of them were getting ready to go to the Air Force Academy. They're going to the Air Force Academy when they graduate. They're seniors right now to play lacrosse, and so I, of course, gravitated towards them. But Brooke, there had to be an Army guy.
Yeah.
There just had to be one kid that said, "Hey, I'm going to the Army." I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm sorry to hear that, man." He said, here we go. I said, "Oh, by the way, do you want to know what Army stands for?" He's like, what it means? And he's like, "No, not really." I said, I looked at the two Air Force guys. I said, "I'm going to tell them anyway." and then I looked back at him. I said, "Army stands for Air Force rejected me yesterday."
Oh, wow, that's the first time I heard it. Says,
Yo,
okay.
Air Force rejected me yesterday. And them kids fell out laughing, man. It was so funny. Dude, I just love having fun, man, and it's all about, it's always been that way with the branches. We all got our own sayings for each one of us, but anyway, man, had a great time doing that. And I'm glad that, I did join the Air Force. I joined the military. I have a very strong backing in the military anyway, because my family, I think 6 of them were Navy, to include my sister.
Right. Yeah. A lot of your family members,
To
right?
include my sister and my stepdad were both Navy. My aunt and my uncle, they met in the Navy. Their son went to the Navy, got out and went to the Coast Guard. He's now in the Coast Guard. You know, so and then I have a cousin who's in California that retired Navy. So then before one uncle I never met, he was Army. He passed away before I met him. He's a great uncle. But I never met him. He was Army, had a Marine. It's like, and then my youngest brother's Air Force. So we're all over the place.
Yeah.
We're all over the place.
So you chose Air Force and you went to recruiter and like, look, I want to travel. I want to do this. How did you get into the in-flight refuel? Like, tell us about that. Like, walk us through that right there. Because it's very hard to get into a flying position, a flying job, right? Eyesight, you have to have,
Mhm.
vision, you have to have hand and eye coordination. There's a lot of things
Yeah.
that you have to align with before you can even pass your in-flight physical. On top of
Yeah.
that,
Listen, let me start off first by saying thank you, Navy. Why am I thanking the Navy? Because they talked me out of joining the Navy. I was actually going to join the Navy first because I told you all my family was Navy,
right?
and everybody's kind of pushing me that way. I'm like, oh, okay, I really don't like water that much. I mean, I love going to a pool, but come on. The ocean's different. And so they talked me out of going to the Navy because I really wanted to get my schooling paid for. I wanted to learn how to do that, get my schooling paid for. That guy was not telling me anything. The Navy recruiter wouldn't tell me a word. Like he just kept pointing or pushing like a pamphlet in my face. And I'm like, dude, I read this online. I don't get it. Like, how
Right.
does it work? And so, anywho, Brooks, I'll never forget his last name. He's the reason why I never joined the Navy. Put it that way. So now let's move forward to me literally just walking out of his office, making a left turn, making a right turn, and going straight into the Air Force recruiter's office. I never left the building. I told him I had to leave too. I told him I had to go pick up my sister. I never left the building, dude. Went straight to the Air Force recruiter's office. And when I walked in, I like to set the scene because there's signs that told me I needed to be there. Soon as I walked into the office, on the wall, you know how we have the pennant for the Community College of the Air Force?
Right.
That was on the wall.
And
That was
that's
the first thing I saw
and
when
you
I
wanted to
walked
go
in.
to school. You wanted to,
I wanted to figure out
you-
how to get schooling paid for. So I was like, wow, that's got to be a sign, And so I keep walking in, and then because there was still like a little half wall there, so I had to keep walking in and make a right. And when I turned right, there was nobody like sitting in chairs, but there were two recruiters standing there talking to each other. One was a master sergeant, one was a staff sergeant, and Staff Sergeant Davis. They were looking at me first off, and I'm just staring at them. And because I'm only 18 at the time, so I'm just staring at them. My mom's not with me, nobody's with me. It's just me. And they're like, "Can we help you?" I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah. I think I want to join the Air Force." Question mark. And so anyway, he's like, "Oh yeah, come on in." Whole different vibe. First off, from where I was in the Navy's office, everybody in the Navy office just stare at you. Like they didn't
Right.
provide like no kind of connection or whatsoever. Whereas the Air Force, oh, come on in. Yeah, let's talk.
Right.
So let's sit down. Man, I got in there and started talking. He's like, okay, so what do you know what you want to do? I said, really, I haven't looked into it. All I've been looking into is Navy jobs. And so this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. He was like, okay, first off, let me have you take the practice ASVAB because they had the computer right there in the other office to do it. So I did that. And at that time, the minimum score to get in to the Air Force was a 50. That was the minimum to get in.
Right.
Now they done changed it. It's lower. I don't know why they keep lowering it. But anywho, I scored a 48 on the practice. Just walking in. No study, no nothing. He came in there and looked at his score. He's like, oh. And I was like, yeah, I knew it was that bad. I knew. He was like, that's not bad. He's like, our minimum passing score is 50. Usually we see something in the teens.
Oh, so they already had you primed. They was like, oh yeah,
Bruh,
we're gonna get them in. We're
brother,
gonna get them in.
He said they usually see something in the teens or in the 20s. And I was like, dang, who are these people? And so he's like, here, take this disc. I want you to study this at home and come back and see me in like 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. I did that, right? And I go take my ASVAB. I kill it. I get I think like a 87 or something like that. 87 or something like that on it. The overall grade. I don't remember what the individual breakdowns were, but because they have it in like categories like electrical, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he called me after he got back my results, and he said, "When can you get here?" I said, well, I'm off work tomorrow because I was still working at Bojangles at this time. I was working there part-time. For those who don't know what Bojangles is, that's a fast food restaurant for chicken and biscuits.
Yeah.
They got famous chicken and biscuits.
A southern delicacy.
There you go. And so anywho, worked there for 3 years of my first job ever. And I said, yeah, I don't work tomorrow, so I can come tomorrow. He's like, oh, all right. I'll see you at I think he was like 10 or something. They don't come in early. Those recruiters ain't coming in early. And so I said, all right, I'll be there. Dude, he was in there, on his computer, and I walked in, tapped on the door, and oh yeah, come here. He turns around and has that paper on his desk, and it's got like 9 or so pages front and back of jobs that I could apply for. He's went through and started highlighting some already. Now, some of the jobs that I looked up were like, or that I wanted to do, that I thought I did anyway, were like, being a mechanic,
Security
on a
forces,
plane.
defender.
Nah, heck no. Heck no. I already knew that. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even want to be nowhere near the guns, honestly. And so, like, whether it was on a plane with a gun, I didn't even want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even want to be a gunship, guy, like an AC-130 gunship. I didn't want none of that because I knew where that would put me, right into combat. I was trying to do my time without doing some time.
Yeah, to get that for your school, right? So you could go and get the school. And then
that's really all I cared about was getting school paid for. And, that was the ultimate goal,
right?
Not the sacrifice myself. I mean, I knew I could have been the ultimate sacrifice, but I didn't want to put myself as the ultimate sacrifice, if you get what I'm saying. So anyway, I was looking at stuff like a mechanic for a plane, mechanic for a helicopter, mechanic for trucks. Like I'm choosing all these mechanic jobs. He's like, hey man, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't want those jobs. And I was like, why not? Who doesn't want to work on a plane that's for the military? That's pretty cool, right? And he's like, okay, let me show you something. And so he showed me the jobs that he highlighted. Load master, in-flight refueling specialist. I was like, okay, all right, this is cool. I said, what's an in-flight refueling specialist? And he said, you don't know what that is? I said, yeah, it's not my job to know.
Right.
Like, that's your job, brother. I'm the 18-year-old joining. And so he was like, hold on. And so he turns around to his computer, because his desk, you know how they had those like U-shaped desks,
right?
That's your chair. Yeah. So he was facing me, and then he turned around to the other side to look at the computer, pulled it up, what in-flight refueling is, and I'm looking at the video. I'm like, and then my brain says, don't let them sucker you into anything. And then my smile goes away. And I said, yeah, that's real cool, but that's not a real job, man. That can't be a real job. And he was like, what do you mean? It's right here. I was like, I've seen a lot of imagery in my life. I don't think that's real, man. That's like something coming out of a movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's ever seen two planes fly that close together? I hadn't. I'm an 18-year-old kid from Durham. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't see that kind of stuff. We barely see the planes. And we live right by an airport.
Right.
And so, anywho, he's like, no, I'm so serious. Like, this is amazing. He starts running down this whole long list of all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Then he says, oh, and by the way, it has a $90,000 re-enlistment bonus. I said, you should have led with that.
Yeah, I want that right there. Sign me up. Sign me up. When do I start? When do I got to be the basic training? Okay, when do I roll out?
You could have said that, and we could have been done with this conversation. And so, I go do all my tests and exams and stuff for it. Because like you said, you got to go through the eye exam, like a regular eye test, like reading the eye chart, colored, making sure you're not colorblind, making sure you have depth perception, and all these different things. You got to be able to lift I think it was either 50 or 70 pounds above your head, something like that. It's because they got this machine that you got to move and you pick it up. It's almost like doing what do you call that?
A military press,
Power, like
power
power clean.
cleans. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like that. And so I played football, and so I did that sucker like that, dude. I like lowered down into a defensive position, and I picked it up and like boom, like they were like, "Hey, don't break it." I'm not lying, dude. He was like, "Hey, don't break it." I said, "Hey, I didn't know. I'm used to living with power. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm used to trying to move the weight as fast as I can." So he was like, all right, but you're not playing football. This is only like 70, 80 pounds. Like, calm down. And so anyway, I got through all of those tests, man. And I have to throw this in there because don't ever take somebody's word as final, because I almost got kicked out of that career before I even left. What do I mean by this? Well, he called me and said that, hey man, apparently you didn't pass the depth perception test. I said, what? He said, yeah, man, they said you didn't pass the depth perception. I said, yes, I did, because they told me when I was sitting there, I passed it. What are you talking about? Like, I didn't have to wait for you to know that. He told me when I got done, I passed it. And he was like, really? I said, yeah, I'm not lying. I'm so serious. And he was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I said, hey, listen, man. Let me look, come here. Let me tell you like this. You're not finna sell me this dream and then tell me I can't do it. Because he told me I passed. Now I will go retake the test, but I'm not gonna sit here and let him say I did not pass it, because guess what? They lost my test and said I didn't pass it. Dude, do you know how mad I was? Because they were trying to tell me I was not gonna be able to do the job because they lost my test. Dude, I and that's why I tell people, always trust verify.
Trust with verify.
Okay. And I was like, dude, he told me to my face before I even left that building that I passed. I didn't have to wait on my recruiter to know that I passed. Yeah. And so, yeah, no, man, I just wanted to say that because you not everybody has your best interest at heart. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Pass all the tests. You out here in-flight refueling. You're refueling the planes with 60, 70,000 pounds of fuel in there. You going and seeing the world overseas, stateside, traveling to and from. You going to school, doing football on the side. You in the band at church. You heavily into the church, and then that day happened. So just before we get into that, I want to share. Yeah. So right now, Kiwi, what I'm doing is I'm holding up your book right now to the screen, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm holding up the book. My first question, I always ask a lot of, I ask my authors, why did they choose the cover of their book? So I see that, we talked about the ninja, right? I already told you already. I had back in the day when I was in Germany, I had at a ninja, I was on that Autobahn, but your book has is it 6R? Is it ZX6?
Yeah, it's a ZX6R.
Yeah, ZX6R on the cover, and the big bold letter says, "Don't focus on why me."
Yeah.
What made you say this is the cover I want to go with? And then we're gonna get into what's inside these covers, right? I just want to just touch on what made you say, "Hey, let's go with this cover right here." You spoke to the production team, and you spoke to the publisher, and like, this is what I want in the cover. Why that cover? Why that motorcycle?
I'm finna break that all the way down.
Let's get into it, brother.
You know why? Because I'm the one who put the cover together. I'm the one who took those pictures for the cover. For those who don't know, I was also a professional photographer before I lost my sight. So the ninja you see in that picture is actually my bike. That was the bike that I rode the day of my accident. And that picture is a whole separate picture stitched together with the background, which is the lake that I'm referencing inside of my book. That dock that I'm sitting at, that pier that I'm sitting at, that you see the walkway, the backdrop of the trees, that's where I was leaving from right before I had my accident. And all of that stuff is there for a reason, brother, because these are the last things I would see.
Wow. And
These are the last things that
wow.
I remember seeing. That's why that cover is the way it is.
Wow.
And that now when I did my and talked to the cover designers, it's like, well, you think, and my coach, they all wanted me to change it. I said, y'all don't understand the significance
Right.
of this cover design right here. I said, these are the last things I saw in my life.
Wow.
That bike and that lake were the last two things that I saw.
Wow.
And so that's why I stitched that together, man. And again, I took both of those pictures. Nobody else took them. I had one of my friends, because I still had a desktop with those pictures uploaded to it that I had already edited and whatnot. And I had him come to my house and put those in an email to send to the cover designer.
Mm.
And that's what they did. They came up with this book cover. And I had like my mom and everybody, looking over that stuff for me to make sure it was it looked good, basically, which it does from what I hear.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's how the cover came to fruition, man.
Wow. And when I went, when you sent me a copy of the memoir, right? Because the way how you have it
Yeah.
structured in the book, you talk to the readers, you say, "Dear reader," right?
Uh-huh.
You start off every chapter, "Dear reader," and then you sign off, "Sincerely, Kiwi." So this is what I took away from the book, and we're gonna get into it. So I took away service after service, life after life altering trauma. That's what I took away from the book. Mental resilience and identity reconstruction. I took that away from the book.
Uh-huh.
Faith and healing in the aftermath. I took away that from the book.
Yep.
Leadership through vulnerability. Took that away.
Yeah.
Post trauma and transition and reinvention. Because you had to you had to
Uh-huh.
figure out the new way. You had to get to the new Kiwi.
Yep.
And then the highlights, I call it, right? The bounce back. Veteran employer impact. Hiring the individual. Because you have more than just skills. You were skillful.
Uh-huh.
I could go down the list and we're gonna talk about it. I said for playing I can't even play the drums and I'm seeing like you over here crushing it and it's like when we talk about like that repetitive movement, like you already know all you got to do is hit. And man, I tell you what, your hearing has max. I remember one time we was together, we was doing a briefing. He's like, "Hey, did you hear that?" Like, nah. He's like, "Yeah, man, somebody's talking in the back." I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah." And so your hearing just like superpowers now, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. And
Yeah.
turning pain into a platform, because that's what you have with your Kiwi motivation, and we're gonna touch on that too. And then from the most important thing on why I believe that I don't know why you chose the name of the don't focus on why me, but what I took away from it, get away from that victim mindset to that victory mindset, right? Because you was in the hospital, you was saying, man, why me? Why did this happen to me?
That's it. That's it.
Why me? Like I was having everything. I'm playing football. I'm in the church. I'm going out doing all these things. I'm trying to go to school, get my degree. But
Mm-hmm.
before we even touch on all of that, take us back to the day of the accident. What do you remember most?
What do I remember most about the accident? Honestly, the the things I did before. So like the my girlfriend at the time, her and we went out to lunch. She was at work, and of course I was in the reserve, so I had to work that night. Actually, I had to go into a UTA. And so I was like, yeah, no, we could do lunch, and I'm gonna go home after that, and then I'm gonna take a nap. because that was, if you recognize the date, that's May 5th, Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
you know, in the military, people party.
Yeah.
So we were gonna have us some nice festivities down in Goldsboro, brother. It's so many. So it's like 2 or 3 pilots that own breweries in Goldsboro. So we were gonna be bar hopping. Okay. And we got one that owned a restaurant. So we had food and drinks. It was all that, you know,
Right.
like I already knew it was gonna be one of those nights. So I needed to rest up is what I was thinking. You know, I was gonna take a nap before I headed down to Goldsboro. But see, man, God is funny. I went home and I couldn't go to sleep. I could not fall asleep to save my life, honestly. That's interesting to say. And so I said, you know what, let me go do something productive. And I took my camera, put it in my backpack. I said, I'm gonna ride my motorcycle because it was a beautiful day outside.
Right.
No storms were in the forecast. Because here in North Carolina in the spring, man, it's either gonna be nice or it's gonna be raining. That's it. That's all you got in the spring. So it was actually one of those nice days. And I stayed in the same neighborhood as my mom, and I prefaced that because she had been looking for me that day. She saw my car because I didn't drive my car.
Yeah,
I
you
was
was
on
on
my
your bike.
motorcycle.
Yep, you was on the bike.
And she would have never known I was on my motorcycle because it was in a garage. And you never saw it. I always kept the garage closed. You know, so I'm out on the bike. And this is why I say God is funny, because I went to take pictures of my church. Why was I taking pictures of my church? Well, the other business that I used to have was called Kiwi Enterprise. Kiwi Enterprise, I did website design and management, social media marketing, and photography. Well, I was taking pictures in my photography hat for the website of my church that I managed. I was going to update things because on the website that as it was currently, set up, it didn't have all the things that we've added to the church.
Right.
So I wanted to update the website to show it appropriate. And took all those pictures, man, and I was like, yeah, from my apartment to the church, only like 10 minutes. I said, I can't pull that bike out for just 10 minutes.
Yeah, I need I need to rotate these tires.
Come on,
I
man.
gotta at least
Listen.
Nice day outside, open visor, you riding, just enjoying the trees, passing
tires
by.
won't even warmed up
Right.
yet. Look, they still cold from sitting in the garage. So I felt I had to warm them up just a little bit more, man, and that's where I went to the lake. So I went from my church to the lake, man, and no problems getting there. I mean, beautiful ride too. God, it was so peaceful because it was the middle of the day. It's like maybe 1, 2 p.m. something like that. And so middle of the day, man, and I get down there and I'm chilling, and that same on the book cover, what you're looking at is where I was sitting.
Oh wow.
That's how I was sitting at the lake. And so off to the left of how you're looking on the book, off to the left is like a ledge going up, or rocks going up. And that's where the road is. The little highway is, Highway 751. And so a car comes by and I'm like, oh shoot, what time is it?
Time to get back.
And I was like, oh, okay, it's time to go. I gotta go. I should have waited for another car, man. I should have waited for another car to go by. Time is so interesting, and I could go into a whole dissertation of what I mean by that, but golly, if only I had waited just a little bit longer. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I left Jordan Lake, headed back, to the house because I had to get myself together. and I wanted to hit the highway before the traffic hit. That was my goal. Let me get my stuff together, hit the highway for traffic hit. I don't want to be out in all this traffic. Go stay at the hotel, check into the hotel and everything. Yeah, I didn't make that. I didn't make that because as I'm riding back, a Honda Accord pulls out in front of me, man. And that's all she wrote. I listen, I don't remember nothing. I didn't even know it was a Honda Accord until I got told about the police report.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. I got knocked out. Okay.
I remember you said in the book, it's like you had one of three choices.
Yeah.
To go onto the left lane to oncoming traffic, go onto the right to the trees and ditch, or
do what ended up happening and hit him. Mm-hmm. That's it, man. And it's funny. I say I had three options, but really in hindsight, like 2020, you only have the option that your mind does. And why do I say that? Because we think we can choose these options, brother. In that time span of that car pulling out in front of me doing 55 miles an hour, and the impact, that it was like that.
Right.
You ain't got many choices. I froze.
Yeah.
Because I'm not expecting a car to pull out in front of me.
Right.
We think we know everything, what's gonna happen, and as Mike Tyson said it the best. We all got a plan
Until you get punched
until
in
we
the
get
mouth.
punched in the mouth. Okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we all got a plan when we get on that road of what we're going, what we're gonna do, how we know the path. We know that we can set it in our GPS. I don't care. You can know that all day long until something happens, and then what? So yeah, man.
Wow. So, what was the first thought that hit you when you realized your life would never be the same? Because I know in the book, and please, everybody, like, we're gonna talk about how to get a copy of this book. But when you read the book, man, you're like, I didn't even want to put it down, right? I was like, man, this is right, because remember I told you, it was filling in the gaps, because you and I we did a lot of Air Force Wounded Warrior briefings together, and I knew that side, but like having the book, it filled in a lot of the gaps to where, we just didn't have the time, right? We only had like 10 minutes or 15 minutes to do the brief. But when you sit down, when I sat down and was looking through the book, I said, wow, because you didn't even know you was in the hospital for about a month, right? You said you didn't even know what happened. Like you finally woke up and you tried to talk and your mouth was wired.
Yeah. You ever heard somebody say on TV, "Hey man, how long was I out?" That's basically what I should have done when I woke up in the hospital. Hey, how long I been out? But I didn't even know I was in the hospital.
Right.
I thought I was at home.
Right.
Like in the book, I tell you that. I thought I was at home in my bed.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out where these voices coming from. I'm literally about to jump out of my bed and grab my pistol and start lighting it up, okay? And I write that in the book.
Yep.
Because nobody's supposed to be in my house. What are you doing here?
Right.
You about to catch all of this 45. Okay. Okay. Right. All of it. And so, when I realized I'm in a hospital and honestly couldn't really move, to be honest, dude, I listen, the way you see me now, like, and you see me in person, I'm actually even more stronger than I was when last time you saw me.
I be seeing you at the gym. You all said posting on Planet Fitness. You and Planet Fitness out there putting that work.
Hey, I be in there. Okay?
Yeah.
So now when you last saw me, I was doing pretty good. I'm doing way better now as far as like getting around and mobility and stuff,
right?
And strength wise. But then, I'm sorry, June the 6th, because my accident was May 5th. June the 6th, when I came to.
Right.
That was when I realized, what's going on here? Like, I'm skin and bones at this point.
Right.
Like, lost all of the muscle I had before my accident, when I was playing a semi-professional football. Hey, listen, let me throw just a couple numbers at you. So before my accident, I was weighing about 190 bench pressing 275 and squat. And I never went above 315 on squats because it really, I had a bad back from being an in-flight refueling specialist. The way they have you laying down, it's not good for your back. And we all claim that
Yeah.
when we get out of the military. All of us claim it for disability. So anyway, I'm squatting like 315. And let's just, of course, very fast, agile, because I played strong safety, had to be that guy, that's going to come up and hit you in the mouth if I wanted to, or just play back in coverage, so I had to run.
Right.
And I'm in top physical condition, man, only to be knocked down to nothing. And when I say it, like, people don't really understand. I wish, because I tried to ask my mom, I was like, do you have pictures from the hospital? Because I need those. People need to see where I was.
Right.
Brother, I was skin T. Not with a T, okay? Don't put a T in it. I was skin T, okay?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it doesn't do you good when you see me now. What? You know where I get the most respect? At the gym.
Oh yeah, could they?
You know why?
See you? Could they see you in there doing?
Not only do they see me working out, it's when I go in the locker room and I change my clothes. I take my shirt off, and you can see the scar on my back. I take my shirt off, and you can see the hole in my stomach. I take my shirt off, and you can see where the trach was.
Yeah.
Man, when you see my scars on my legs, and I've been squatting 225 pounds, and I'm digging all the way to the ground, all the way back up. When I'm doing 225 on deadlifts, and I'm ripping it out, and everybody listening, man, I'll be having people watching me like I'm daggone the Terminator in there. And I'm like, all I'm doing is doing my hardest not to let this weight beat me, okay?
Right.
That's what I'm doing. I ain't worried about nobody in there. I'm just trying to make sure the weight don't beat me. I want to beat it.
That's powerful, brother.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where I tend to get the most respect. I've been called a hero so many times in that gym, not just because I walk around wearing the Air Force Wounded Warriors program, like, gear from when I was doing adaptive sports, but just because they see the sure consistency of me coming back in there. And they know when I've been missing.
Right. They're like, hey, we ain't seen you in a while. Where you been?
Yeah.
I was traveling. I was doing this.
I've been on the road.
Been on the road. Yeah. And that's good. That's good because, and I know, our listeners and viewers are saying like, wow, how is he doing this? And I know, like I said, you and I had a lot of conversations, a lot of one-on-one personal conversations. And I remember one time I asked you, like, when did you because you kept saying like, why me? Why me? But it started to transform to what now? Like, okay, I have, I got into a motorcycle accident. I lost my sight. I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to talk. I had to learn how to wipe my own butt. I had to learn how to do everything from ground zero. What now? I got an idea. I'm going to show people my train. I'm going to take off my shirt at the gym when I train so they could see.
Yeah.
And ask her, like, man, what happened? Like, hey, I was in a motorcycle accident. Hey, I lost my sight. Hey, I had it all. But here I am. I'm bouncing back. This is what resiliency looks like.
Yeah.
Transforming from why me to what now. What's the scoop on that, Kiwi?
Man, listen. The why me, and that I'm gonna try to tie this into my title as well, because that's kind of where I got that title from. But the why me was, like you said earlier, the victimized side of it.
Right.
We all have, that's the first thing we lean to as humans. It's just it's a human. It's just like an innate human reaction to turn to the victimized mentality. Okay. We try to figure out how we can deflect.
Right.
Well, instead of me deflecting this and saying, why me? Why not asking, why not me? Who better to handle this situation than me?
Yeah.
If I'm still here, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And when I started to understand all that, that's when the what now came about. I started understanding that I could still win. When I understood I could still play them drums.
Hey,
Come on now.
everybody, I'm telling y'all, if y'all ever in the North Carolina area and y'all look, go check out my man on, I can't even say the ones and twos. My man be like, he going to town on them thing like, yo, how in the world you even remember the sequence? Like, you know,
Man, listen.
Phenomenal, brother. I'm just so in awe. Like when I say, yo, he really could play the, you know how some people say I could play the drums, but nah, this guy could really play the drums.
What's funny? You know what's funny about that though? Like, but by the way, 25 plus years of experience. So I've been playing since I was 7. But here's the thing. I still view those drums as I'm behind. Hear me now. I've been playing over 25 years. I still view it as I'm behind. I know some people that play an instrument they've been playing for years, way longer than I have. And they'll be like, I don't need to learn that. Y'all got it. Why? Why do you want to be that way? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I know where the passion lies. Okay? It's in that. When I hear another drummer, I'm like, like, you know, I'm glued.
Right.
I'm like, what'd you go? Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting them on. There's no ill will in my heart when it comes to hearing music, man.
Right.
It's all love. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I can't really relate to people who do hate on others like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not in me to do that. If I'm not learning, what am I doing? Brother, I'm not growing.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm about is growth.
And you know what else you're about? What I've seen and when we had conversation? Defining what new leadership looks like after trauma.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Define and redefine it however you want to lace it, but after trauma, because, and you talked about it a little bit earlier before we even hit record, you know, when people go through trauma, sometimes they stay in that trauma and, you know, sometimes they can't move out of that trauma, right? Because they still processing that trauma.
Yeah.
And I know from having our conversations, you had a family, right? Because you wanted to get back to your church family. Like your people was coming to check for you. And all you thought was, who's playing the drums on Sunday? Y'all said that was in your mind. Like, yo, who's on the drum? Who's on the ones and twos? You know, and that shows leadership right there. Like, look, I got to get back out there because that's my responsibility. So walk us through that, brother. Like, how did you redefine or define, or however you want to lace it, leadership after trauma, after your accident?
So that chapter you're referring to in my book is called Give It Time.
Yes.
And so, listen, giving it time is not the easiest thing to do. I'm not going to throw that on. I'm not going to say it was, because that was the hardest thing for me. Right. I just knew I was ready. Okay.
Use it patient.
Listen, man, I knew I was ready. I had been practicing at home. Right. You know, I'm playing all the songs that I'm thinking of. You know, I mean, I got it all set up. Okay. Grandma's loving it, you know, because I was living at her house at that time, you know, so she's loving hearing me play, and the people who were there watching me or like coming to sit with me, they were loving it. Oh man, look at him. He's so talented. Right back in it like he never lost it. And they're right. I never left, but what I didn't realize was how I looked.
Wow.
I felt great.
Right.
I thought I was ready. But sometimes you need others in your corner to tell you what you're not ready to hear.
Wow.
Let me say that again.
Wow.
Sometimes you need others that love you now. They love you in your corner to tell you what you're not ready to hear.
So, brother, what advice would you give someone that's stuck in anger after a life-changing event? Like, what advice? Because I know that was one of your battles, right? Like that was, when you was trying to figure out the new version of you. What advice would you give someone that's feel like they stuck after anger after a life-changing event?
And you just punched me in the stomach with that one.
Hey, brother, I love you, but you know that. Look, I'm telling, I told people, I said I love when people come across this podcast, whether they watch or listening, because I know for a fact it's something in the pit of my stomach that's saying ask that question because somebody is listening and they are on that last breath or they are on that last hope, just want to hear something. So definitely somebody who went through a major, like a life altering event, like what's some advice you could share with them to kind of keep them encouraged and going forward?
Okay, first thing I'll say is the same way somebody told me to give it time, I had to take that time. I gotta restate that because I don't think people hear it as clearly as it sounds. The same way somebody told me to give it time, I also had to take that time.
Wow.
Because if I didn't allow myself that grace and that time period to, get my mind right. That's the first thing you need to do. Get your mind right.
Right.
Because if you don't get your mind right, nothing else is going to fall in line. Your body does not function without the mind. So I had to give my mind some grace, give it time to connect now with what's going on. What am I actually experiencing? What happened? Give me all the things that happened, every detail, whatever. Just allow yourself to cope for a second. Allow yourself to grieve for a second. Allow yourself to feel the emotions. We're always told, especially in the military, you understand
Yeah,
this.
suck it up.
We're always told, suck it up, buttercup.
Suck it up, buttercup. Figure it out.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, we don't have time for this. But when something so traumatic, and it doesn't have to be as traumatic as what I went through, because mine was like I'm up here, okay, with trauma, and so it doesn't even have to be that bad. It can be as and I won't say it's small, but as a lower of a scale as like, okay, you just lost a job.
Yeah.
That's enough. You can grieve on that.
Right.
Because that could change your life. Some people literally live paycheck to paycheck. So if I don't have one, guess what?
Right.
I'm now about to start losing stuff.
Right.
Because them bankers, those loans, every payment is still due.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you have a job or not.
Still comes
to
the
the mail. I
mean?
mean? So what I want to, so I'll leave that part alone. And then I'll say, here's a quote that I live by and I keep it near to me. Don't let your situation define who you are. You define who you are.
Wow.
Because if I let this motorcycle accident define who I was, the fact that I can't see, the fact that I have limited mobility now because I had a medically infused spine and 2 broken legs and a foot with a screw in it, a head with plates in it. Like if I let all that stuff define me, I wouldn't be sitting on this podcast. I wouldn't have wrote that book.
And you wouldn't be the $3 million man either.
So, there's a lot of things like that. I wouldn't be the professional resilience speaker. I wouldn't be a mentor. I wouldn't be an ambassador. I wouldn't be
Facts.
Kiwi.
That's so true.
Just think about that. If I let that stuff define me, I wouldn't be Kiwi. And so we have to understand that because another thing is denial can set in. And if you let that set in and you don't address it, I promise it's going to come back.
Yeah.
I lived it.
Right.
I lived it. I said, man, I'm going to wake up one day and I'm going to have my sight. I'm going to wake up one day and I'm going to have my sight. I'm going to wake up one day and I'm going to have my sight. Dude, you know how many times I said that before? I was like, you know what? We got to change this way of thinking because we're not moving anywhere. We're not going anywhere if we're saying the same thing every day.
Right.
The definition of insanity.
It's doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Doing the same thing and expecting different results. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I had to change my way of thinking, man. And once I did that, life became so much better. People they look at me in amazement because they're like, dude, you don't let any grass grow under your feet. And I said, what would it be doing there?
Wow.
What would grass be doing under my feet? I don't live outside.
Wow. That's good, bro.
Come on now.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
What legacy do you want to leave behind for people to keep in their back pocket so people know? Like I said, man, once we connected and I met you, I mean, you know, you gave me the dap. He's like, oh man, you kind of you kind of spoke, but you didn't turn. You know, what I'm saying, you ain't turned away. Like, and I told you
no.
my nickname.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that fits you.
Hey, what? So, I'm glad you're bringing this up. What did I tell you? I said I don't see you for what you are.
Right.
I see you for this.
Yeah.
And I pointed at that chest. What's inside?
Yeah.
That's what I told you. I remember that day very vividly.
Yeah.
I said, hey, man, you could be as big as you want. You still my boy Brooklyn Teddy, but I see you for this right here, this art.
And that's solid,
and you started
man.
crying.
Yep.
And I remember that like it was yesterday. You started crying. I said, brother, listen to me. I don't care what you went through, but you're still here for a reason.
Yeah. So
and we're all still here for a reason, man. Yeah.
And that's I know one of your legacies that you want to leave behind. We had this conversation to show that don't let your shortcomings or this or however you want to say it, don't let what define, like you said it. You just said it. Don't let it define you. Like that's
Don't let your situation define.
Don't let it
define
you.
You define it.
You define it.
Mm-hmm.
And these are some. So I when I went through the book, I went through it a couple of times, right? Because I just like, wow. Because every time I read it 3 times, by the way. And every time I thought, oh, I gotta write this down. Or I said, oh, I gotta share this with the listeners because once they go get the book, because they're gonna go get it, they hear that conversation and they hear some things that's ingrained in the book. And I'm just gonna run down a list of stuff that I highlighted myself that resonate with me, knowing you from our conversations and from when we went out to our first briefing together for the Air Force Winter Warrior program.
Okay.
My accident didn't break me, it rebuilt me. Why me became what's next. Pain introduced me to my real strength. Healing isn't linear, it's layered.
Yeah.
You don't survive by trauma. You don't survive trauma by accident. You survive trauma by decision. My scar, that's what you talked about when you at the gym. My scars are receipts, not reminders of weakness. And that's why you take off your shirt at the gym.
Yep.
Faith give me vision where my future looked blurry. You can't control the crash, but you can control the comeback.
Come on.
Victim was a season, not my identity. Strength is quiet consistency. Let me say that again. Because we talked about the Planet Fitness. And you talked about you in there, and when they don't see you, they say, yo, where you at? Like, yo, I'm on the road. Strength is quiet consistency. Recovery is leadership and training. Every setback holds a setup. Survival is step 1. purpose is step 2.
Oh yeah.
Your trauma doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies you to help others. And I'm going to leave it right
Mm-hmm.
there because that's what
Yeah,
you
man.
do. And this is a good transition into your personal business as a motivational speaker, as a coach, as a mentor, as a person for your community to show you're not just staying stagnant. You're not letting grass grow underneath your feet. You're moving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're still active. It took you a while to get there. You're still growing, but you're still out here showing people that it could be done.
Yeah.
So, brother, before we sign off, how can they get in touch with you? How can they get a copy of your book? And how can they, like, even if they might want you to come out and speak for their organization? You know what I'm saying? Like what's
Oh yeah.
what's the new word they using now? The handle or something like what's your social media?
Oh yeah, handles.
Yeah.
Yeah, handles.
Hey, because I see that on your email. Hey, yeah, this is my social media handle. I was like, okay, my man big time now. You know, he giving everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No. So if you want to get in contact with me for sure, Kijuan Amey on all social media platforms. You can find me on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'm on everything right now. So with me being a professional resilient speaker, you're gonna need to hear my voice. You know, so that's one way of looking me up on social media. And if you want to go to my website and check me out, that's ameymotivation.com. Again, that is AMEY motivation.com. You can also find the link to my book on there. Or you can go search it on Amazon, Kindle, Apple, and Audible. As far as y'all heard the cover, Don't Focus on Why Me, from Motorcycle Accident to Miracle. And then yeah, you can also find that book me link on there too on the website. And send me an email, you know, and if you want to just send me an email directly, Kijuan at ameymotivation.com.
Hey, brother, I appreciate it. Before I put out the last plug for VET S.O.S, I just want to get the scoop on this last one I found in the book. I stopped asking God why and started asking him how. What's the scoop?
Mm.
What's the scoop on that before we transition into the sunset?
Yeah, so that was when I finally realized I needed to get out of that victimized mentality and figure out what's the next steps. Because the only way for me to move forward was to get the answers. So when you put it this way, when you go, I'll make it simple. When you put for example, an entertainment center together for a TV, yeah, you might have all the pieces laying there in front of you, but without the instructions, what are you doing? You're just looking at a bunch of wood. I needed instructions. I needed guidance. And so I just asked him, God, what am I doing? How do I do this? Give me your steps. Order my steps. You know, and so that was what I was doing. I was asking him for guidance. And I still do it to this day, man. Like literally before I step foot on any stage, prayer. Because if I tell him, I said, Lord, I don't want them to hear what's coming out of me. I want them to hear what's coming from you through me.
It's powerful, brother. I appreciate
You know,
you.
so that way you can't go wrong, man. If it's coming from him, he is the true vine. And the other thing is he's going to give them what they need to hear, not what I want them to hear. So it's a difference, man.
I appreciate that. And that's a key. And definitely everything is a transition. I always share this on my shows. Every day is a transition. Every day is a transition. And what we say here on the network, on the VET S.O.S podcast network, you do not have to drown in the sea of transition. Grab that VET S.O.S Lifeline. Cut through the noise. Reach out to people who've been there, done that. He got his t-shirt. I got my shirt, you know, and got the t-shirt. But if you need help or assistance, just reach out to somebody or just reach out to us. We'll find somebody. We'll find somebody that we could connect you to, because what we don't want nobody out there suffering in silence, or just quiet in silence and not knowing where to go. We're here to
Yeah.
help. We appreciate everybody. And Kiwi, thank you for coming on, brother. Man, I love you, man, and just keep pushing forward,
Much
because,
love.
like I said, it's only up from here. Y'all said
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we're on an uphill climb, brother. And
Yes,
man, I
sir.
appreciate you for being a brother. I appreciate you for being a veteran. I appreciate you for being a great human being, man, for others to reach out to and to conversate with, man. Much love, brother. Until next
Likewise,
time.
man. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, everyone. Peace.